Officer Sizwe Zungu has told the court, the High Court in Pretoria, how he knew all of the accused in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial. Zungu claims he saw them before and after Meyiwa was shot and killed. Manqoba Mchunu was reporting for us from court earlier. He's back now and he's joining us now in the studio for the latest. Welcome back, Manqoba. So Constable Zungu facing those questions from the defense. Has the defense been able to cast doubt in any of his evidence?
Well, certainly, Prajan, what the defense has tried to show here is that there is no connection between these accused. Of course, this is what we heard from the evidence of Constable Sizwe Zungu that places all of these accused at the Sutu hostel in Vosloorus back on the 26th of October, the day that Senzo Meyiwa was killed. And why this is relevant, Prajan, is because we know, of course, that the allegation is that these are the 5 accused that had been involved in Senzo Meyiwa's killing. And so his evidence has essentially placed them at that particular hostel, which is not far from the Khumalos. And of course, why it also matters, we've heard previously testimony that suggests that a phone that was stolen during that robbery that had taken place, or alleged robbery that had taken place, was later located or pinged at the hostel that is nearby, which suggests that this is possibly the hostel that this phone had been taken into. And from the evidence of Zungu, it does suggest that these are the accused that had been part of that particular robbery. He gave evidence about one of them having a hoodie, which is accused number 2, Bongani Ntanzi. And of course, today, during cross-examination, the defense trying to cast doubt in that. They're saying that accused number 1 and 2 both deny the fact that they were even at that hostel on the day that Senzo Meyiwa was killed, or that they at all were in the vicinity or in the company of Constable Zungu at that particular time. So both of them are insisting, pretend that in fact they were not even in Gauteng on that particular day. They were in KZN. But perhaps let's take a listen to what the defense had to argue.
And both accused number 1 and 2 will deny that they were at Gwabine's place on the 26th of October 2014.
That is just a lie.
Accused number 1 will state that in 2013 until March 2013, he was staying at Vosloorus Hostel at Basotweni section, but when he lost employment in March 2013, he returned home and stayed home until he returned again to stay with his uncle in Tembisa in 2015.
The question was at the statement.
I want you to comment on that.
I wouldn't know where he was working when he lost his employment. We have never discussed that.
The basis of that proposition to you is essentially this, that since March 2013, he's never returned to Johannesburg or Gauteng until 2015.
I saw him in Vosloorus. I was with him, drank beer with him, and I'm the one who dropped him.
Well, Manqoba, I understand accused number 2 refuting some of the claims made by Zungu. What came out of that specific cross-examination moment?
So, Prajan, so far we know that both accused number 1 have denied being in Gauteng, and more especially Vosloorus when this incident occurred. But you recall that yesterday we heard evidence that accused 2 had been wearing a hoodie on the night that Senzo Meyiwa had been shot and killed. And in fact, what Zungu told the court is that just around about 8:30, after these accused had disappeared from that gathering, he had then seen Bongani Ntanzi changing his jacket that he had been wearing, and both those jackets, he says, were hoodies, which supports some of the evidence that we've heard from those who were inside the house, who say one of the intruders, the second intruder, who was taller, was wearing a hoodie. And this is the intruder that had chased Kelly Khumalo and Tumelo Madlala into the bedroom. But of course, what he says is that he was not even there, and nor did he wear a hoodie. But also, crucially, they also denied, accused number 1, that is the fact that they've been carrying guns. What Zungu said yesterday in court is that accused number 1 had been carrying a 38 revolver just moments after they arrived, and accused number 3 had been carrying a 9mm. But he says those claims are lies. But take a listen to what went on in court.
Now, with respect to accused number 1, he also says that version that he gave Kwabini, a .38 special revolver firearm, is false.
I think that's just a way of defending himself, but he knows the truth.
Further, accused number 2 also states that it's a falsehood that you saw him at Gwabini changing from a black hoodie to a grey hoodie.
I saw him. And he knows that as well.
Accused number 1 and 2 deny any involvement in the killing of the deceased, Senzo Meyiwa.
As I've already said that I never saw them killing him, so...
Manqoba, finally, I understand there were concerns raised about the safety of Constable or the police officer Sizwe Zungu, the witness currently on the stand.
Certainly, Patan, and I think when this court started, this is when one of the safety issues was raised with the court, with the video clip that was, produced by the state that seemingly showed accused number 5, Fiso Wutlentuli, making trigger-pulling gestures towards the witness. And this all happened yesterday. And of course, the state had then raised this issue with the court, saying that this was in contempt of court and asking the judge to essentially ask these witnesses to respect the decorum of the court and not to interfere with the evidence of witnesses. But also when it came to cross-examination of the lawyer representing accused number 3, Mthobisi Mncube, Charles Mnisi, raising the fact that he had wanted notes that Zungu had used when he compiled his reports, and what seems to suggest, as far as this is concerned, is that he might have to travel back home to get those notes back in KwaZulu-Natal, which also raised some security issues as far as his safety is concerned, because we've heard testimony brought down yesterday that seems to suggest that there were threats that were made to his life, there were attempts that were made to his life with vehicles stopping, and relatives or alleged relatives of some of the accused trying to kill this particular witness. But perhaps let's take a listen to the concerns that were raised by the judge as well.
Sir Balui, I fear for this gentleman's life.
Yes.
Because we've got evidence here that there was an attempt to murder him. I see people keep on saying to kill him. So there's a real possibility that the safety of this witness is being compromised. Can you make arrangements?
I'm sure arrangements can be made, Monot.
So that this witness must be given the opportunity to go home, to retrieve all those notes, and he must also go to the safe house on Monday. Is it possible on Monday we'll have those documentation? Okay. Mr. Nisi will postpone this case, and we hope this witness will still be alive on Monday.
Okay, that's how we end that update from Manqoba Mchunu about what happened in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial earlier today.